here we go with part 4. So, first one I have is Hootie and the Blowfish, Corrector Review. Pretty good 90s album. I'd definitely give Hold My Hand a listen. If you like Darius Rucker, that's his band before he went solo. Then we have the Hunger Games soundtrack. Pretty good. I'd recommend Safe and Sound, which had Taylor Swift and the Civil Wars. And then we have Imagine Dragons, Night Visions. This is before they were like super mainstream, or during the time they were super mainstream. But I'd give Amsterdam a listen. Then we have In This Moment, Black Widow. This is their last album. They released a new one since then. My track would be Sexual Hallucination with Brent Smith. For those who don't know who that is, he's the lead singer of Shinedown. And then we have Incubus, Make Yourself, which is probably my favorite album. I'd give Pardon Me a listen. And then we have, I just picked this one up, Incubus, Crow Left to Murder. Or Crow Left of the Murder. I haven't heard anything of this besides Megalomaniac. So. And then we have Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast. I'd give Run to the Hills a listen. And Peace of Mind. And I would listen to The Trooper, my bad. Next album, James Durbin, Memories of a Beautiful Disaster. And it's okay. He was a American Idol alum. Then we have Judas Priest, Point of Entry, which is the only Judas Priest album I have. I'd recommend Heading Out to the Highway. And then we have both Justin Timberlake, The 2020 Experience, both albums. This one I'd recommend Tunnel Vision. This one I'd recommend TKO. And then we got Kelly Clarkson. Yes, I love this album. Breakaway. I would give a listen to Behind These Hazel Eyes. Or Walk Away. Then we have Kid Rock, Rebel Soul. And I wasn't a big fan of this album. So. And then First Kiss is definitely an improvement of the last album. I'd give the title track a listen. And then we got The Killers with their killing debut album, Hot Fuss. Somebody told me is my favorite off of this album. So, yeah. And then we have Killswitch Engage, As Daylight Dies. Great metalcore album. I thought this one would have had Holy Diver, the cover by Dio, but they didn't. But I still love My Curse and the last track, Reject Yourself. And then we get into some of my Korn collection with Korn, self-titled debut. Blind would be my recommended track. Life is Peachy. I'd recommend either Twist or Adidas. Then we have Follow the Leader, which is my favorite album. I'd recommend Freak on a Leash. Issues, I'd recommend Falling Away From Me. Untouchables, Alone I Break, or Thoughtless. And then we have Take a Look in the Mirror. I would recommend Y'all Want a Single. Because he says that for it a lot. The Path of Totality, I'd recommend Narcissistic Cannibal, which has, this is their dubstep album. And they have like Skrillex and Kill the Noise and Noisia and 12th Planet. So. Then we got The Paradigm Shift, which I would recommend Love and Meth or Lullaby for a Sadist. And then we have their latest album, The Serenity is Suffering, which is probably their heaviest stuff since probably See You on the Other Side. My recommended track would probably be Black as the Soul. Next one I haven't really listened to much of this one yet. This is Lenny Kravitz, Circus. I got this at Salvation Army. And then I bought this. This is Lacuna Coil, Dark Adrenaline. great goth metal album. My recommended track would probably be End of Time or their cover of Losing My Religion. And then we have their newest album, Delirium, which is great. My recommended track could probably be either Ghost in the Mist or You Love Me Cause I Hate You. Or Downfall, which had a guitar solo by Alter Bridge. Lead singer Miles Kennedy. There we go. I couldn't think of his name. Next one I have is Lamb of God, Sacrament. Track I'd recommend is Redneck. And then their latest album, Seven Sturm und Drang. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I probably didn't. But in German that means, or maybe it's another language, but it sounds German to me. It stands for Storm and Stress. My recommended track would probably be Overlord, or 512. And then we have some classic Led Zeppelin, the self-titled, or 4. Led Zeppelin 4, or the untitled, my bad. My recommended track would probably either be Black Dog or, of course, Stairway to Heaven. Come on. Then we get into some Lifehouse. It's an okay album. My favorite would probably be Hanging by a Moment. And then, Who We Are. This one, I couldn't find the case for it, so I kind of found a case for it. But, my recommended track's probably Broken. And then we have Linkin Park, rest in peace, Chester Bennington. Definitely a voice of this generation. But I have Hybrid Theory. A Thousand Suns. Living Things. And The Hunting Party, which I definitely want to get more, especially, although that new one was kind of mixed whenever it came out, it definitely had a new perspective on me, so. Next one I actually just bought this at a Goodwill not too long ago, but Live Throwing Copper, great 90s album. I would recommend Lightning Crashes or I Alone, and I never gave tracks on these ones, so. This one, I give Paper Cut, Catalyst, Burn It Down, and Guilty all the same. Or Final Masquerade, one of those two. Then I have Leonard Skinner, Icon, Greatest Hits. Recommended track would probably be Tuesday's Gone. And then I have some Maroon 5. They're okay. This is Hands All Over. My recommended track would probably be probably Misery. Then we have V5, whatever you want to call it. Maps. It's a pretty good song. But other than that, just skip it. And then we have Bruno Mars with his first album, Doo-Wops and Hooligans. My recommended track is Liquor Store Blues, that he did, the track that he did with Damian Marley. And then I have one of the contenders for Album of the Year so far, Mastodon, Emperor of Sand. Great album. I love the concept too. I'm sure I'll be talking about it by the end of the year. But my recommended track would be Andromeda. And then I have some Matchbox 20, Yourself or Someone Like You, probably my favorite by them. My recommended track is probably Push. Or 3 AM. And then we have North, which is their last album they did. My recommended track is She's So Mean. We have Matt Kearney, Young Love. I love Matt Kearney. I grew up on him. My recommended track is Ships in the Night. And then we get into some of my Megadeth stuff. Megadeth is my all-time favorite band, hands down. So, first album I have is Killing Is My Business, and Business Is Good. Recommended track, Last Rites, Love to Death. And then I have this box set, which has Peace Cells. I'd recommend probably Peace Cells or Good Morning Black Friday. So Far So Good So What. I'd recommend In My Darkest Hour. Rust in Peace. I'd recommend either Holy Wars, Punishment Due, or Hangar 18. Probably my favorite because I got into them with this album. Countdown to Extinction. I'd recommend Ashes in Your Mouth. And Euthanasia. I would recommend Addicted to Chaos or probably the title track. So. And then I have 2 copies of Rust in Peace and Countdown to Extinction. So then I got Cryptic Writings. I only got this album because it was 20 years since it came out, so I bought it up. And I'd recommend A Secret Place. And then I have this Greatest Hits. This one has Angry Again, so I definitely recommend that one. Then we have their newest albums, In Game. I would recommend This Day We Fight. 13, which is kind of had some filler in it, so I didn't really care much for it. Skip this one. And then Super Collider. Skip this one. Countdown to Extinction Live. That's an okay live album. So, but if you're not into live albums, you can just skip that one. It's not much of a big thing. Then we have Dystopia, which is their latest album. Probably the best stuff they've released since probably the 90s. I'd recommend Poisonous Shadows. And then we have a new one. I haven't really listened to this one much, but Meshuggah I Special Edition. This is an AP they had of a 21-minute song, so that's pretty much all I know about that album. And then we get into my Metallica collection, which is going to lead into the next video. Kill 'Em All. My recommended track is Whiplash. My favorite, Ride the Lightning. I'd recommend Fade to Black or the title track. Or Fight Fire with Fire. Master of Puppets. I would recommend Welcome Home. Sanitarium. And then Injustice for All 1 or Harvester of Sorrow. Alright. Stick around for part 5.